All right, new day, new tasks. The man who does
the man who comes out of his cave to do the grunt work.
Yep. As I've said in a previous video, which you haven't seen yet.
No, I haven't even watched.
No, but I did say that. But anyway, now we're going to get to the drive shaft union and the gasket for the downpipe, which... Okay, so here we are under the car.
Oh my god.
And I just forgot to record 5 minutes worth of stuff, but we're gonna put the new union on. So here's the new one covered with the metal shroud, and then the old one that we took the metal shroud off. That one's done. We had a dent or crease a little bit the downpipe,
Right around here.
and that's because the new exhaust manifold moves the turbo over, but it moves the downpipe closer to the drive shaft union. So we knew it was going to rub. So we dented that in. We're going to put the new one on and check the clearance, but it should be okay. And then we have a new gasket for the downpipe to the rest of the exhaust, which we'll worry about in a minute. We'll put some thread locker on there. There's 3 10 mil 12 points. Is that right?
6.
Yeah, it's three per side. So we're going to put a little bit of thread locker on there, and then get those bolted up, and we should be good.
Speaking of which,
and that will be that. And we'll be back when we make some progress.
okay. Let's see here. This, if you can see it right here, is the new union connected to the trans side. Next will be the drive shaft right here, which connects to 3 identical holes right here. And cut! Okay, dokie. Here we go. So the drive shaft is now connected to the union, and the union is connected to the transmission, and hopefully the bolts hold.
Oh, and I should find the bolt for the downpipe and make sure that it spins and doesn't rub.
Let's see here.
The final.
One rusted bolt here. And there's the other rusted bolt, and the nut, and the washer, and the other washer. And here is the gasket. Brand new, pretty gasket. Which will not look brand new after the first time use. And over here, we have a fine specimen of a man. Oh my god.
All right, back at it. So last video, or maybe I'm gonna clip them together, I don't know. But I was here with my friend, and it's kind of hard to like do this with another person because like stuff is just happening, and then it's like, oh wait, we got to record that, and then it's like, just button it up. So I'll kind of get you a little bit caught up. Not that we did anything major, but just so you're aware of what's going on. So you may remember that the subframe was laying over there. That's on the car now. So the way that went down is, get some light going. So we just took a jack and set the subframe on. It's not that heavy. I mean, it's heavy, but not that heavy, especially with 2 people. And then just started to run it up. It's 4 bolts. So 1, 2, third one is tucked up here and then across. This one kind of keeps spinning. I don't think it's stripped, but the subframe got bent when we were pressing one of the bushings out. And so I think what's happening is we're turning it and it's unbending it, but I'm kind of scared to strip that out because that'd be a nightmare to fix. So all the other ones torqued except this one, and I'm kind of the mind to not mess with it. And that probably sounds dangerous, but I think if we just check it every so often, it'll hopefully be okay. I mean, it's tight, but I was thinking about maybe taking this one out, taking that good one out, painting like a line on it, and then screwing it back in and just counting how many revolutions it goes, and then do the same for this. And if it's tight but I'm only at half the revolutions, kind of keep going. But if that thing strips out, like I'm not technically savvy enough to fix that, I don't think. And yeah, we could go with a bigger bolt, but I don't think that'll fit the bushing. Then it becomes a whole thing. So I'm thinking about just kind of playing that one safe. Anyway, so another thing is there are the power steering connections. So hopefully I'll still have enough room to kind of get in there and do whatever I got to do to route those down and out toward the pump. If not, it's not a big deal to just drop these 4 bolts and take it back down, which is kind of another reason not to screw with this one right now. Inside the car, where this goes in on top, there's like a splined shaft that has like a little C in it, and so the steering column connects to that. I haven't done that yet, but once I get to it, I'll show how that works. That's really all we did down here. We didn't do the exhaust yet. So in a previous video, I said I had ordered the Miltech gasket. It's not the right one, not even close, as you can see. So maybe I use it, but then it's going to be like taking up some of the hole, and it'll probably just fry because of that. So I might just get some gasket maker, or use copper gasket maker and just kind of clamp it together and hope for the best. We'll see. I don't think this is critical, more just so it doesn't sound funky. Outside of that, nothing else was done. So we still have to connect the toe links and the CV, and get the spindle into the A-arm. So those are all pretty easy to do things. I need to do new brakes. These are completely trashed, like fried to the max. So I haven't ordered anything for that yet. I'll probably do some type of upgrade with them. I'm just not sure what yet. It'll kind of depend on what kind of budget I got to throw at it. Just in case you need to know the specs for putting that subframe back on. So that's number 4 and number 15. And so number 4 is 74 foot-pounds plus 90. And number 15 is also 70 foot-pounds plus 90. So there you go. Let's see. And then in here they talk about how there's a captive nut that if it's damaged, the complete mounting bracket has to be replaced. So that's what's up in the car for that one. I don't know if it doesn't say that for number 4, so I'm not sure exactly, and that's the one I'm having the problem with. I'm not sure exactly what goes on with that one, but again, we're just going to play it cool, I think. So for today, what I wanted to do was I went to Ace Hardware, and as you remember, I'm switching from the N75 to a Mac boost control solenoid. So for a whopping 74 cents or whatever it was, I got 2 screws and a nut and 2 nuts. So I'm gonna kind of figure out where this should mount. I looked up the diagram last time, and I just don't remember exactly which way it's gonna go. But basically, I'm just gonna kind of put it up here somewhere. And then I think what's nice is the body will kind of act like a bit of a heat sink for it. So I'll just drill 2 holes, run the screws through, mount this up, put the line or the hose from the wastegate to the solenoid. That will be done. The other line for that will run to the hard pipe, which isn't in here yet. I'm not going to fiddle with that quite yet. Another bolt issue that we're having is I think this one is stripped, and there's a mounting bracket it goes into. I think in this case I can just get a new mounting bracket. So this bolts into a bracket that bolts into the motor. I think there's 3 bolts that holds that. So I could take that out, replace it, hopefully be good to go. If I did have to go with something larger here, I certainly could. I also saw a really cool trick in a YouTube video that makes sense to me. I don't I don't see it working for me, but it was cool to see it work for this other guy. But basically what he did is, in this situation, he was saying, take this piece where you have the problem, put this bolt in, or no, I'm sorry, drill this hole bigger, the hole that's messed up, drill it like 2 sizes bigger, then go find a bolt that fits that. Don't have this in the way, just put the new bolt into the new hole, cut the bolt flush, and then tap into that bolt this hole for this bolt, and then put that in. And then you use like Loctite, and he also dimpled the threads so it would bite as it's going in and it won't come back out. And so he was able to torque a new bolt into the bolt that he put in there, and it was pretty cool. So I was thinking about, maybe possibly doing the same thing, but then could we just tack weld the top a little bit just to ensure it doesn't come loose or spin or something like that. So I feel like these are plentiful, these brackets. I just have to like go on eBay and find one. But if it becomes a whole thing, I kind of think this idea of putting a bigger bolt in and then tapping into that would be kind of interesting to try. So that's about that. I'm gonna maybe maybe I'll put the fuel lines. They'll kind of be dangling in the way, and maybe there's other better stuff to be doing. But I think I'm just gonna kind of keep chipping away here to get this to the point where it's ready to start up. In order to do this wiring here, I just keep forgetting to do it, but I need 2 resistors or diodes. I think I actually need diodes to prevent one thing being on, backflowing electricity into the ECU, and the other thing is off or something like that. I have the diagram for it. I went to Micro Center. Apparently they don't sell diodes. They have resistors and LEDs, etc., but not like a normal inline diode. So I'm going to research that, order it, get that wired up, and then I can kind of clean all this up, and that'll be done. And again, that's to set it up so that the ECU can have after run when I shut the power off. I still have to get the power steering lines kind of figured out. I haven't bought any of the fittings yet, but I probably need to take some time and research what exactly I need to buy and go get that stuff. Yeah, other than that, I think it's just kind of putting stuff together. The front end is going to kind of be a little bit of, not a whole thing, but there's 2 fans on there, so I want to take those fans, wire them into a connector. Not 100% sure, though, if the amount of power going through those can be serviced by where is it? One of these. Like, I don't know if that's too small for the current requirements of running the fan, but I think I might try, because I have this whole set of plugs somewhere. Here they are. So I have these, I ordered this off of Amazon, and it's basically like the Deutsch style connectors. These are really easy. You need I got 2 tools to help me kind of do all the crimping I need, but I've really liked working with this so far, and I found it very easy to like wire stuff up, or wiring connectors, and I've done that for the Mac valve, as you saw, and that was the other end of it. Okay, well, that's enough yammering. Let me get to work, and I will update as I go. All right, so making some progress here. drilled the 2 holes. What I did is I drilled the top one first, put the screw in kind of hand tight, and then got it set up where I wanted it to, drilled the second hole, and then put that through, just so I wasn't trying to hold it and drill drill 2 holes, which inevitably will never align correctly. So I find it best to like run the first screw and then do the second one where you can do that. And then ran the connector or the wires out of that from there to the connector coming from the ECU. So that's all good. So that part's done, and then I clamped this onto the nipple. Ordinarily, I would have thought that using zip ties was a really ghetto thing to do until I took my car to a race shop and it came back with all of the air hoses zip tied on. And I asked about it, and they're like, yeah, well, what happens a lot of times is you put the metal ones on and that tail comes out and it starts scratching the hose next to it. So for air hoses, it's totally fine to just use a zip tie. So what I did is I kind of did it hand tight as much as I could, and then I put a pair of needle nose on there, and then I put a screwdriver on the kind of box of the zip tie and just kind of push and pull at the same time to get just 1 or 2 more clicks out of it, and it's solid. So highly recommend that, doing it, and don't feel ghetto if you do. So that's all good. Obviously I don't have the hard pipe yet, so we're not going to worry about the other side. You can't really see how it's done up, but basically there's the 2 screws that ran through, and I just put the nut on there and turned it through. Rather than getting a screw head, I should have really gotten like a bolt head or one of those like round, or the hex heads where it's round but the hex is in it, and then you put like an Allen head in it, but whatever, it should do. So now I was taking a look at some of the wires down here, and I think I can get these grounds on. So I took Dremel Harbor Freight one with a wire wheel attachment, and I just hit both the eyelets and that bolt that I'm going to screw them to. So that should be okay. A lot of times I saw on the car that there was like a black, almost crown looking thing, and then all the wires would sit into it so they wouldn't be wiggling. So I'm going to see if I can find one. Hopefully I didn't throw them all out. But I'm just going to ground these all up real quick just to get that done, because it might as well. These things, anything is just kind of flopping around, might as well go back together now. What else? I think that's it. So yeah, let me keep going with that, and then if I figure something new out, I'll come back. So at this point, my garage neighbors kind of came back, and they were making some noise next door, so I'll just voice over this part. But basically I took the ground and positive from the 2 fans, got them kind of clamped up, and then fed into one of the connectors. In order to make that connector work, I just grabbed one of the 4-pin female connectors, and it's pretty simple. You just take the female kind of metal ends here, strip the wire back, push it into the back end of it, then take this crimping tool, put the pin in here with the wire inside of it, and then just ratchet squeeze this closed, and that makes a really great crimp. And then I use this other crimp to do some of the kind of like half C's so that the tail of the metal pin kind of grabs the wire. So that was all set, and then I can use some of the fan grounds from the OEM fans to power, or to get the ground to the fans. So that's all good. And then as a last piece, there's this coolant line that tees off of this kind of main branch, which goes back to the coolant ball. So I had to mount the hard line here with 2 10 mil bolts, and then that hard line comes back to the coolant ball. So that was it for the day. So see you in the next one.